Bobcat Nation, it's time once again for the Bobcat Coaches Corner. To my left, Steve Barsby, the tennis coach. And Coach, let's talk some tennis. What do you say?
Sounds like a plan. Also, hockey season starts Thursday night, if you want to talk about that as well.
I'm gonna be able to place a wager that they probably won't want to talk about that. Coach, it's been a couple weeks since we talked to you last. The ITA Southeast Region. Let's start there. I know that was a couple of weeks ago. Had a nice run there and got a real good singles run out of Jerome LeBourne. Got to the finals there, and I know we haven't done that in quite some time.
Yeah, it's probably been 15, 20 years since we got to the final of the men's singles. Jerome had a great run. Came back in the semis, had a good match in the semis and the finals. The guy he played got on him early, and he just couldn't get anything going. So the final wasn't the greatest match he played all fall, but you know, a great run up till there.
I imagine when the next set of rankings come out, we're going to see him plummet to, or actually rise to the top, not the plummet end. That'd be the other way.
Yeah. I feel he'll probably come in top 15 in the country after that performance in the fall rankings that come out. So that'll be nice for him. I think one time he peaked around 14, 15, so it'll be interesting to see.
How about a doubles championship in the B flight for Leo Bernardez and Victor Anderson as well?
Yeah, Vic and Leo played real well. You know, it's a B title. Everyone's like, well, it's the B. Well, the B is a lot of teams, number 2 and 3 teams. So that's a good win for them. You know, our region is stacked with national ranked teams, so for them to come through there was you know, I was real happy with that result.
And that should probably translate into a lot of wins there, third doubles for you, I imagine, no?
Yeah, I think so. I think right now they'd probably be listed as our 3 doubles. They'd probably argue that they might be the 2 or the 1, but we'll see.
Well, they are the only doubles team with a championship,
That's
right?
true.
Okay, well, let's look at the women's side of things there at the ITA Regional. And you got a couple of good finishes, I know, in the B flight singles. Didn't quite get what you wanted out of the A's and much out of the doubles either. But tell me about the women at that tournament.
The women played well. I think you know, they realized what's out there in regards to the competition and where we want to get to. Had some great results from Michelle and Leah in the B singles, getting to the semis, which, you know, they lost in the semis to 2 girls who I think are teams 3 and 4, and I think they're going to be in the bottom half of our lineup. So, you know, it was a good sign for us. Ivana, our new girl, playing okay in the A singles. May, Kay, you know, there were some decent results, but, you know, we realized where we need to go, so hopefully the next one will be better.
And we really picked it up last weekend at the Windstream Fall Championships for the women's side, and came out with 4 out of the 5 titles, I believe. Yeah, the girls played well. You know, in the A singles we didn't get it done. One girl from Tampa took out all 3 of our girls actually, back to back to back. So that wasn't the greatest result, but they played well. We played well in the 2 and 3 singles flights, and then in both doubles flights, Michelle and May won the top flight, which was. Going in, I would have pictured them as our number 2 team, but they took out and won the top flight, so good weekend. Okay, so some good finishes there, brought home some, well, actually just kept our hardware,
yeah.
and we didn't really bring it home because it was already here. Well, give me an overview, you think, for the fall season. I know it's a tricky time of year. You're trying to come up with those doubles pairings, and you don't necessarily aren't full strength, and are things starting to flesh out for you, Coach? Yeah,
I think the girls team, after the 2 tournaments, we're going in the right direction. They're working hard. We had some good results. The girls at the bottom are pushing up. The girls at the top are still, they haven't moved ahead as quickly as the girls at the bottom, but that'll come out in the rest of the fall and the early spring. Guys, you know, I think we did okay this fall. I don't think we did great, but you know, they've been working hard, and we had a little meeting the other day, and they said, you know, Coach, we want to compete for the national title, and you know, have been working hard this week, even though we don't really have any more tournaments coming this fall in the conditioning. So I think we're going in the right direction.
And a bit more of a Georgia focus for the women's team than it has been in the past. I know you've got Michelle Lingner from Dunwoody, you've got Kayla Barksdale from Augusta, as well as Leah Pridgeon. Looks like she's going to factor in. I think she's from Lawrenceville. Yeah. Is it just tennis is improving in the state of Georgia? Some better options for you here?
Well, tennis has always been huge in Georgia. Atlanta is the biggest tennis community in America, so that helps, and it helps with the SAT going up at our school and the kids, the quality of kids. More kids are looking at us now. Most tennis kids come from, you know, they're come from nice families and good environments, and Georgia College has been an option lately in the last 10, 15 years where more kids are looking at us, And and our team stayed up there, so a lot of the better players are giving us a look. So, and we've signed a few. You know, they've come down here and they see the campus and they see everything we're about, and it's just amazing. If we get them on campus, we'll get them. So.
Okay.
We'll enjoy that.
Well, and then you add in also Anna Hicks and Sarah Roberts to the Georgia clan there. And talk to me a little bit. I know you can't get into specifics, but are there plans to make any extra additions here in the wintertime?
Well, we're going to try. We're going to try to bring in one girl and one guy in January like we usually do. And we always look for someone who can compete at the top of the lineup if we're bringing them in mid-season. So, you know, hopefully that'll work out. We're in the midst of trying to get that done right now.
Okay. Well, I guess switching gears a little bit, you've got an event coming up here, a bit of a fundraiser element towards it, and a bit something new this year for the Milledgeville Open.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that and what's the makeup of this event.
Well, what we're going to do, it's November 18th to the 20th. We've had the Milledgeville Open in the past. It's community people, parents of our kids, tennis enthusiasts, I guess you would say, in Milledgeville. My players have jumped on board to help advertise it. We're going to target groups on campus, fraternities, sororities, major groups, faculty groups, and try to build that up. Our goal is to raise $5,000 through the tournament, and then we're going to donate $1,000 of that to Make-A-Wish through the Student Athlete Advisory Committee that Victor and Kay are a part of for our teams, because I think last year the Student Athlete Committee as a group with all the teams, I think raised $500. And individually with this tennis tournament, we're going to try to double that, because I think we looked it up, and North Georgia, I think, is the school that donated the most, because that's the Peach Belt Conference's philanthropy. And I think they were around 3,700, 3,800 for the year. So hopefully that'll kickstart ours to possibly maybe pushing against them to maybe take that title.
Yeah, to put that much money towards it, I think at the early part of the year gives us a good foot to start with. Now, again, this is part of that Division II model. You mentioned it being the Peach Belt Conference's philanthropy of choice, the Make-A-Wish Foundation. And the Student Athlete Advisory Committee and elements like that, I know that your student athletes get involved pretty heavily in these sorts of elements. Why do you think that's important for student athletes at our level to have that involvement in those areas as well?
Well, you know, if they come here, 99.999% of kids aren't going to get their check from their sport. So to get out there and get involved in the community, make a difference to kids especially in our town. Our town's, you know, in the last couple of years is you know, had some stressful times.
Much like the entire country,
yeah,
sure.
Exactly. So for our kids to get out there and try to help people out and work with other kids and other you know, people that they might not ever work with, you know, to get that experience and to see that they're making a difference in the community. Hopefully they can carry that on to their married lives and with their kids, you know, down the road.
Sounds good to me. Okay, Coach, I'll briefly give you a minute on the hockey. How are we doing?
Leafs are looking good this year. We start Thursday night against Montreal, so I'm looking forward to it. But it's a big night Thursday night at the Barsby household with the hockey.
The only man in Baldwin County to own the season ticket package there on the dish for hockey. Talk to me, who's the favorite?
Well, not Toronto, unfortunately. It's probably Boston again, which your assistant Brian DeCandy will be real happy about. But it's not Toronto. Hopefully, we're just going to get in the playoffs. So.
Okay.
And since half the league gets in there, it's not that big of a goal. But they haven't done it for 6 years, so hopefully they can make it.
Well, one thing you don't have to worry about is your team's making the playoffs, because they do that year in, year out, the tennis squads here at Georgia College. Well, the fall season's come to a close. We're going to have a good-sized break for you, and you can rest up your vocal cords and all that kind of stuff until we pick things back up in the spring.
Not a problem.
Big schedule coming up for the tennis squads as they continue to try and keep that run going of NCAA tournament appearances. Stay tuned to gcbobcats.com for the schedule release, hopefully coming soon. For Steve Barsby, Al Weston here for the Bobcat Coaches Corner.